Hey you guys, today we're going to make some homemade bread. We got this recipe from watching YouTube of Kevin and Sarah with Living Traditions Homestead, and I tried it one time and it turned out awesome. So today we want to do it again. It was about 34 degrees this morning, so we're hungry for some warm bread and maybe some kind of soup or something tonight. Not sure what we're going to have with it. But first thing, we don't cook a lot of bread because sometimes yeast is an issue with gout. Tim's got an issue with gout. So we found these cool tart cherry extract, and he takes these once a day. We used to do the liquid, now we do the pill, but that seems to really help. So since he's got some help with that, we're kind of making more things with yeast and stuff like that. But it is high carb, so we really got to be real careful about what we eat that way also. So we're going to start out with 3 cups of flour, and this is just your regular flour. 2, and then we got 3, and then we're going to sift it. Okay, so after we sift it, we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and I just have the regular Fleischmann's active yeast. Sprinkle the yeast on there. And then I already have my water ready and hot, but you want to have really, really hot tap water. And you want to put 1.5 cups of hot tap water here. Put it in here, and then we're going to mix it, and it's going to become sticky. And when you're usually working with flour and you're working with mixtures that have flour, one thing you really want to be careful with is not to overmix. It can tend to make things tough if you mix too much. So you want to just get the water saturated through so that it becomes a sticky consistency. Not too much mixing. To make a mess. And then after that, what we will do is not spill the flour, and then we're going to cover it with plastic wrap. And then we just set it aside. And you don't have to set it anywhere in particular, you just want to set it on the counter. We're going to set it on the counter for 3 hours. It's 1:30, so 4:30. I remember when my grandma would make bread, she would put it on top of the water heater. Well, our water heater's in the crawl space, so we're just going to keep it on the counter. It's a nice temperature in here today, and then we will see you guys in 3 hours. So it's been 3 hours, and our dough has risen just a little bit. I already took the cellophane off of it, and from the advice of Kevin from Living Traditions Homestead, something I've never done before, but when you're preheating your oven, you preheat the pan inside of it also. He had a really awesome cast iron Dutch oven, but I don't have that. But when I made it before, it worked out just fine using my normal Dutch oven. So you're going to put your pan inside your oven, and you're going to be preheating it to 450 degrees. And you want to do that for about 25 minutes. So while that's in there preheating about 25 minutes, what we're going to do is prepare the bread. And the bread's going to still sit just a little bit while that's preheating. So we're going to put a little bit of flour on the counter. Some, but not too much. Some of you might have a really cool cutting board to put this on, or something like that that's easier to clean up. I've always just used my counter. So you take your dough, and it's going to come out real good onto the counter. And like we said before, we don't want to mess with it too much because then it becomes tough. But you just want to get it and kind of flip it just a little bit, incorporating a little bit of flour. And you're not really going to knead it a lot, but you're just going to flip it around on the flour and make it into a nice quick ball. And then you're going to take a separate pan because your other pan's too dirty, and you want to put some parchment paper in it. And you want your parchment paper to be really big because you're going to pick it up later to transfer it into your Dutch oven. So you take your prepared bread and just drop it into the bowl with your parchment paper. And then you want, while your oven is preheating, you're going to go ahead and just cover this, and you're going to wait until about 25 minutes or so. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, it's been 25 minutes. So what we'll do is very carefully, don't forget, it's super hot. Take your pan out. Super hot. Take the lid off, set it over here. And this is so easy. All you do is you just take the parchment paper. Remember how I had to make sure it's a big piece, and you drop it into your pan. And then you carefully get your lid, super hot. Cover it up, seal it up. And we're going to open the oven, put it in. Okay, so we're going to do it for, we're going to bake it for about 25 minutes. It really depends on your oven, really depends on your pan. So I did this before, and I'm going to do 25 minutes, and then we'll do one more step after that. So we'll see you in 25 minutes. It's been 25 minutes, so what we do is just a quick little take the lid off to get it nice and brown. So we're going to get in, take the lid off, and then we'll set the timer for 5 minutes. Ooh, it looks so good. Out. Ooh, yum. All right, so we're going to put this back in, and then we'll set the timer for 5 minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay, time's up. So excited. Anybody else get excited about food? So, all right, carefully take it out of the oven. And then we're going to put it on a cooling rack. So here, our beautiful bread. So you can see how crispy it is here. So we're going to let it cool just a little bit on the rack, slice it up, and we're going to have some chicken with some creamy avocado for dinner. So excited. Thank you for joining us.